I got we live on this one, right? See a couple people over there already. All right, man.
We ready. We on.
All right, cool. So peace to my people. Peace, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Everybody that's in Cyberland, definitely thank you for catching us. I know this is a spur of the moment thing. For me, this is more like a coming home, of course, but it's sort of like a private town hall meeting type of thing that's playing in my mind in relation to current events with this whole Confederate thing, this whole neo-Nazi thing, this whole Charlottesville, Virginia thing. And I want to talk about the spirituality that's inside of the situation, because oftentimes when we look at it on the physical plane, we never really address the angle of where is the netter, where is the God, where is your ancestor, where is this invisible quantum force, universe, whatever it is that you believe in. We never really address that part of the equation. And I think that's a very important part, especially when everyone, for the most part, will say they believe in a higher power. I'm going to start off with an eclipse that is coming up that we all know on August the 21st in a couple days. It's called the Great American Eclipse. The last time that eclipse was seen in America from coast to coast was in 1918. So this is like the grand phenomenon. Everybody's talking about it in the whole United States, right? And this is very interesting because this is an astronomical fact, meaning it's a body or bodies of planetary energies in the sky that's going to make a certain phenomenon called an eclipse, where the moon is going to block out the light of the sun for a quick second. And everybody's talking about it. And this means now this is mathematics, because we can measure this. An eclipse is going to take place on August the 21st. This is about 28 degrees Leo, all right, in the Leo constellation. And I am going to show you that we have been ahead of this particular curve, this upcoming eclipse, for at least 6 years. Starting in 2011, we've been working on programming this area of space. So now let me clarify that, because I really want to take my time here. What you mean by programming an area of space? Space is very intelligent. If you look at the course of a day, I always say this, the sun rises in the east. It's the beginning of the morning.
Hold on.
Although today may be August the 18th, the sun is in the east as sunrise. A couple hours later, the sun progresses towards the south. This is high noon. This is lunchtime. It's a different energy at 12 o'clock than it is from sunrise. And then 6 hours later, we get to sunset when the sun is in the west. A total different energy. The sun has went down. It's time to eat dinner. It's just a total different vibe. But today remains August the 18th. But yet, doing these three different positions of the sun, the east, the south, and the west, these are different energetic points in space. That's a fact. A fact. Everything I say ain't no opinion, man. I'm going to give you straight up spiritual science as facts. You can Google check me, fact check me. It's going to be facts, all right? So, since this eclipse and everybody's talking about it, and now they're going to be looking at it and they want to get these cool glasses and look at it, I'm going to show you where it's at. I'm going to show you how we were already there programming space, okay? And then why you see the things that you see, because now, if you don't know this science, you are responding to the Charlottesville situation, playing defense, and that has been the problem down here on this plane, especially when it comes to your freedoms and liberties and things like that. You always playing defense and you ain't never playing no offense. You're always talking about what the man doing to you. And I just can't rock with that school of thought, and it's time for somebody to kind of lift that up and let's progress and move the dialogue forward. You understand? So, when I'm talking about programming area of space, I'll just show you. So, this eclipse, when I started researching it, we know that on August the 21st, that was the day Nat Turner actually started his rebellion. So let me back it up and get into some Nat Turner history. Nat Turner on February the 11th, 1831, he saw an annular solar eclipse was visible in Virginia. Virginia is where Charlottesville, this thing that just took place recently, is at. So I've been said before this event happened. I was on YouTube on Black Magic channel, my brother Rich channel. I put it on my website, myastrologycoach.com. It's under the shop tab, free downloads, the Great American Eclipse. I'm just showing you what I put on the website. That I've been said on the record that this was Nat Turner's eclipse that's coming up that everybody's about to be looking at Monday, August the 21st. This is the return of the great spirit Nat Turner. But he's not alone. He's rolling with my man Abe Lincoln. Now I definitely got to clarify, because this makes some niggas mad. Did this nigga just say my man Abe Lincoln? Yeah. So let me take my time here, because the truth of the matter is, black folks didn't get out of slavery because they had a successful rebellion and black folks rebelled as a group like Nat Turner did, and then we got out of slavery that way. That's not how we got out of slavery. And I'm talking about physical slavery where you're shackled and you're being whipped. I ain't talking about the mind. I'm talking about physical locomotion, your ability to walk around freely is what I'm talking about. Physical slavery. There was a war that took place that nobody really want to talk about. They never really talk about the Civil War. And the only aspect of consciousness that this dialogue don't take place is in the damn black community where niggas just think they so goddamn deep. But they don't want to have this conversation, because when we get so pro-black, and I've been there, I know what it's like to walk around and roll with Black Panthers, walking around with militia gear on. I know what it's like to be on that level of consciousness. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody got to play their divine part. But it's like we can't admit the truth as if you didn't have people called abolitionists on the Underground Railroad who were white folks who had candles in their window giving signals to our ancestors who were escaping slavery from down south, coming up north, looking at the North Star, by the way. That's interesting. The North Star. So cosmic consciousness has always been a great phenomenon, and I'm going to talk about that. So you had facts. You had black folks getting free coming up north because you had abolitionists, white folks on the other side who went down with the status quo. It's just a fact, man. It ain't hard to admit that. But for some people, that's a hard pill to swallow. So that war, the Civil War, if we look into it, history says, yo, at the advent of Abe Lincoln coming in, South Carolina got pissed. They said, nah, the hell with that. We out. We ain't a part of the United States of America. We forming the Confederate States of America. Mississippi came second, said, I'm rolling with you. Florida was third, I'm rolling with you. Alabama was fourth, I'm rolling with you. And the last of they starting five was Georgia, I'm rolling with you. Alright? We want to still have niggas as slaves. Facts. The Confederate States of the South did that, not America. America is Abe Lincoln's side that said, listen, I'm coming in there. Y'all gonna have to do away with that. That's a no-no. And they're like, what? Now, I'm going to hear some back talk, and I've already dealt with it, and I done smashed these cats on this thing. I ain't got no problem doing it, because we got to cut the bull crap. I don't care if Abe Lincoln had an agenda that said, I want to net niggas free so I can get them up north and trick them and do horrible things, because something must have happened, because right now we free and we having conversation about stuff. You can get on any YouTube channel and talk about what you want to talk about. You can hold any class you want to talk about. You can own anything that you want to own right now. Ain't nobody really stepping to you right now and stopping you. But the moment that you get in power of Barack Obama, oh man, he's a sellout. The Illuminati did it. The moment that you start getting glory, Jay-Z or Beyonce, oh, they're sellout. They down with this. Or Black and Nobel, they down with this. They Masons now. They down with this now. The moment you start getting success, the little crab in the barrel comes in, because the struggle, my brother and sister, is anti-success. How can you struggle and be successful? The two don't make sense. They diametrically oppose each other. It's a conflict right there. So when we start talking about the plight of the people, we always come from the aspect of the struggle. And the struggle is you heard it, poor righteous teacher. You heard the saying, we poor righteous teachers. Like it's okay to be poor. Man, it ain't okay to be poor. That's some bull crap, man. That's not okay. Because you know at the end of the day, you need this money. And I'm not saying that you're supposed to be greedy. Hear me out. I'm saying we have to put this whole thing in its proper scope. And to be able to do that, I'm coming from a position of, I got to take it from the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, on the theology of time. He who knows the science of time knows the science of God. If you do not know the time and you cannot tell what time it is by actually showing and proving, then please listen to the one that has the knowledge of the time. February the 11th, Nat Turner has this revelation. He sees in the eclipse in the sky, and he says, well, damn, to me that looked like a hand is reaching over the sun. And this is a divine symbol for God that I must start a slave rebellion. This is a fact. It says it. Turner envisioned this as a black man's hand reaching over the sun. February 11th. That's interesting, because February the 12th is Abe Lincoln's birthday. Now, I know you may say, well, brother, Nat Turner did his thing on February the 11th. But if you know how the cosmos work, how do you fit 365 degrees, 365 days in a year inside of a 360-degree circle? That must mean that some days share degrees, because we have 365 days, but we have 360 degrees. So if today is August the 18th and the sun is approximately, let's just say, 20 degrees Leo and 0 minutes and 0 seconds Leo, tomorrow on the 19th, the sun can be 20 degrees, 59 minutes Leo constellation, and then later in the day, let's just say at 10 at night, it will move to 21 degrees. This is the science of where we live at, because we know for a fact a circle is 360 degrees. There's 12 signs in the zodiac. There's 12 months in a year. So we know that's a fact, but we know we also got 365 days. So what's happening in this reality is some days are sharing the same degree, okay? Because you don't live in a perfect circle. You live in an oblong circle shaped like an egg, all right? So February the 11th is the same alignment as Abraham Lincoln. It's his birthday. Facts, okay? So this is very interesting, because now when we dealing with this whole lion, the constellation where the eclipse is going to take place, this is your African ancestry. Black power, this is yours. This was facing the Leo constellation. This is what the Leo constellation looks like. All right, this is the eclipse on the 21st coming up on Monday, 2017. The sun and moon is going to be right at the paw of the lion. But when you start researching the history, remember, you come from a people in the lineage that wore lion masks on their head named Sekhmet. Now, it's a fact when you start researching this in Africa, before the pharaohs went to war, they had to do some type of custom ceremony to the goddess Sekhmet, who's the goddess of war. And when war ended, they did the same thing. So when it comes time to your physical warfare, in the sense of any type of physical fighting, you must go into the spirit plane. You can't, man, you out your mind. See, like, in other words, the Psalms always say it, man. Like, you always gotta call on God when in adversity. And I'm telling you that in Africa, they had the same exact science dealing with Sekhmet. So now this is Sekhmet's energy, okay? That's it. So I'm gonna show you when I made the comment about programming space, or what I mean. If we can zoom in here, if not, it's all good. But this is July 27th, 2011. So we in the year 2017 right now. This is 6 years before y'all about to start looking at this great phenomenon. And I did a radio show, and I said this is a special broadcast, the Serpent's Moon. And I was talking about how on July the 30th, there was going to be a new moon in Leo at 7 degrees. And what I told people to do was, hey, let's get together and let's do a group meditation and think about the same thing collectively. Because the moment that we just simply think about the same thing, we will actually create an external event. I don't know if y'all really understand that. This is a real science. If we all get together and think about the same thing, and it can just be us in this room or even more, something is likely to appear as a direct result of your thoughts. See, when we gonna grow up into the plane of, these sciences of mentalism, all this mental, it all starts in the mind over matter. Okay, yeah, you're right. But science already shows that we use a very teeny portion of our brain. We're not even using all of our brain power. The brain is very powerful. So I'm talking about here, let's actually project a serpent onto the moon. I know this sounds crazy. I want you to think about, you're gonna see the sun in the sky. You don't see the moon because the sun is too bright. So we'll just pay attention to the sun and throw a serpent on the sun. Right? Sound crazy. But remember, King Tut and them walked around with masks on, and they had a serpent on their third eye, the Uraeus. Wajet, right? So this spirituality, this is African spirituality. I ain't saying nothing crazy that can't be validated from the spiritual practices of Africa. So I'll show you what happened. Remember, this is actually July the 27th. So August the 1st, just a couple days later, the Tennessee family driving down the highway, all of a sudden a damn snake appeared on their windshield. When you look at practicing the setback right here, because if you see my man right here in the middle, Minister Jim, he got a lion mask on his head. If you see this brother over here, he got a lion mask on his head. Here it is, the spring equinox of 2013. We're going to Confederate KKK Stone Mountain, where they started at. It's clouds. I always say clouds represent thoughts. You always hear this saying, I had cloud my judgment. Cloudy, you know what I'm saying? So it represents thoughts. And we banished those things and made that go away. So we're going up there with Sekhmet energy, and I'll show you what happened. This is the weekend that we went, March the 24th, 2013. Please note, where's the moon? The moon is right there at the lion's paw. Interesting. This is the same area of space that everybody on August the 21st is going to be looking at. Well, I'm showing you, in 2013, we was on Stone Mountain dealing with the KKK and the Confederacy. Now that this eclipse is coming, it's like, oh, eclipses is always seen as a bad omen. Some type of, it always represents the falling of a king. If you go into the Bible and you start looking at eclipses, you're going to see it always dealt with a king losing his power. Always. All right? So, in fact, they even got some, kind of like the fake king ceremony that came about in this area, that if they saw it was a bad omen for the king, they would actually take the real king, put him low key, put him in the cut, and put somebody in his place, and allow the rest of the king to take the hit. So the real king to live. Alright? But the moon is in the same areas in 2013 while we're on the equinox. Interesting, because the equinox represents it's only two that the earth is even daylight, half even daylight, half even night. So this is a portal, okay, of equalness. So on these celestial days, we get busy. We don't sit around and wait for what the news is going to say it's going to be. We already know what to do, all right? And we already knew, work with this area of space and program this area of space, all right? So I'm just showing you where the moon was at when we banishing Confederate energy, all right? So on April the 7th, 2013, just a month later, we do a radio show right here on April the 7th, as you see, 11 a.m. Eastern. We do a radio show, and it's called We've Been to the Mountain. It's just going to talk about, like, yo, we've been to the mountain. Martin Luther King said he had a dream. He's talking about Stone Mountain in his famous King. So we already went there, and we're going to share with the audience that, hey, here, we have been there, this is what because at, what time is that? At 1521, which is 3:21 our time, Eastern time, there was an earthquake that happened when we came off the radio, and it happened in a place called Lincolnton, Georgia. Okay? Lincolnton, Georgia. As you can see. Now I said, now damn it, did that earth just quake? Is God so great that he'll make the earthquake in Lincolnton, Georgia as a divine sign to show you? We just never saw a mountain in the Confederate boys. The only other people on history that dealt with the Confederate boys is Abraham Lincoln as the president, and then his top general, General Ulysses S. Grant, who's right here in Philly down in Fairmount. Y'all seen the statue where he down there on the horse? That's actually what we actually need to be and be doing some great praises, because it was him that actually made General Lee of the South secede and give up. In fact, when you look at the day of the earth,